Hi Tigran, thanks for being with us today. I know you have a tight schedule. You have a new album coming out and its name is Mock Root. Could you tell us a bit about what that means, actually?
Mock Root?
Yeah.
Well, it's basically the nature that's mocking humanity. That's kind of the idea, but and also it's the roots. It's like the spiritual part of us that we sometimes neglect. Like get caught up in the materialistic world of today, and all the technology and the things that the way they are right now. So it's just like the roots that are mocking the humans,
Okay.
like the roots, like the other side of us, what's inside. So that's the idea.
So it seems that there is like a sort of continuation with the other album, like Shadow Theater, about illusions and human being, and maybe another part of a reflection or something behind the music.
Yeah, I mean, there's I like when I do albums, when I record albums, they're not just a bunch of songs that are piled together. I like to have a story, or I like to have a sort of like a scenario, that like how it begins and what kind of shape it takes, and then like how it ends. Every song has like sort of like a story behind, an inspiration behind, and yeah, I like that personally. To me, it's not that when I do albums, it means something. It's like it's a world. It represents a certain world.
And about Armenia, I mean, you seem to be in a quest, maybe not in a quest, but searching. And I know you grew up there. I know it's your country, but was it always the case, like looking into like old Armenian song tradition, poetry, or is it something you started later to really look into?
I discovered Armenian folk music when I was around 13, 14, and thanks to like music of, like for example, Gurdjieff's music or Keith Jarrett's music, like the Keith Jarrett quartets with the European quartets with Jan Garbarek. So I heard something that was that felt like the vocabulary of that music wasn't necessarily bebop, yeah, it was more, it felt like it was almost like folk music that was improvised with like a freer thinking of folk music. So that made me discover my own music, and also other different kinds of folk music from the different parts of the world. Yeah, that's when I first started checking out folk music in general. And since then, I realized that it's just an endless source of inspiration, and like the more you go inside, and the more you check it out, and the deeper you go, the more places there's to go.
Okay. Speaking of your music, could you play a song for us?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks for that. Could you tell us a bit about the song you played?
Yeah, sure. It's a song that's called To Love. And I've written this, I think I've probably written this in Paris, I think, the time where I was staying here for a second. And it's a love song. It's about love. And it's also inspired by the poem by an Armenian poet from the 19th century. His name is Petros Durian. He lived in Constantinople in that time, and it's like a sort of a very romantic piece. And the poet, he was a romantic. He died like when he was 21, but he left some incredible works. So it's sort of just, it's a little love song.
Okay. And it's funny, at the beginning of the interview we're talking about a scenario. And I have this question. I said to myself, looking at your work, that you have a whole visual concept to your music, You have like VJing on stage or images, and you do a lot of video clips. And I was wondering if later on I don't know if you were interested in like maybe the movie business or collaborating with theater,
Yeah, I love cinema. I would love to work with somebody that I would, discover that would be in the same. We would find something common together. But I love cinema, and I, for example, I do the cinema of films of Andrei Tarkovsky, Parajanov. Yeah, I mean, I'm super into that world, and I think at some point, hopefully, I will find a guy that I can collaborate with, and on that, nothing. It's not something that won't be about like trying to just like get the money and write the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Something that actually just to like create a piece of art, and yeah.
Like a more global performance.
Yeah, something that's about art and collaborating with somebody that has to say something in the world of cinema. Not show business.
I mean, you pretty much started cinema with your documentary, but as an actor.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I started that.
And about this, I was watching it, and there is a few moments. It seems to be during the morning, and you're stretching, and maybe not. Stretching on the balcony, and like seeming pretty quiet. And I thought about the whole documentary. Do you meditate? You seem to be you seem to be pretty much spiritual.
Yeah, I mean, to me, music is meditation. When I play music, and I'm quiet. I mean, even if there's stuff going on around, like whenever I play music, I mean, it's totally the same. It's exactly the same thing as meditating, because there's a state of mind and that you get in that you don't think too much, and if you balance your emotions and your mind and your body, I mean, it's a meditation. It's the same thing when you play a concert, that you have to think about the balance of these three things, and then I mean, magical things happen. Things that you wouldn't know that they could happen. And it's just about being able to like get in that mind, in that state, so you can go to places that you wouldn't think you could arrive. And yeah, I'm reading a lot of now that I have a project with a choir. And a piano, and then the entire music repertoire consists of Armenian sacred music from 5th to 20th century, and so I've been wanting to do that for a long time. That's because I've been listening to Armenian sacred music for a while, and like imagining like what can I do with this, because there's so much incredible stuff, you know. And finally, we recorded that, and the process was really an interesting one. It's still ongoing process. It's sort of almost like a pilgrimage, you know, and it will be a pilgrimage, you know, to certain places where I will be playing, you know, in the summer of 2015. And so I've been reading a lot of literature, you know, sacred, spiritual literature tied to that, and it's yeah. I mean, you realize a lot of things, you know, when you get deep into that, and you know, that you see that whatever you're reading, it just, you know, like for example, reading Narekatsi, who's a 10th century Armenian poet. Reading his works, it just applies to like exactly what's going on right now. You know, it's just the human nature. It's about, you know, why we live, and it's conversations with God, you know, basically, and it's very, you know, it's a journey.
Before you play a last song for us, we wanted to know if there's a person in particular who hears your music like first when it's finished, a person you always go to.
No, there's actually, it depends on the project. For example, I guess this one, the first person that the Makrut album, the first person that actually heard it is my grandmother. So yeah, when I came to Armenia right after the recording and put it on the speakers loud, and we were listening to it. It was cool. Yeah, but it depends on the project. It depends where, you know, where I go and where I am after the recording.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank
anyways,
you for coming.
Thank you.
We're gonna hear the last song.
Okay.
And see you afterwards.
Okay.
T'as une question ou pas?
Thank you very much.
C'est pas le bon, hein?
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Bye.
Amandine.
Bye.
À plus tard. Peut-être qu'on se reverra, du coup, je sais pas.
À la prochaine, hein?
Vous occupez d'un autre.
Au revoir.